Mr. Hodge, for about 30 seconds, would you like to comment on the Amazon situation?
Senator, I've never looked at Amazon's tax returns or their books. What I can say is that when companies pay very low taxes, generally what they've done is followed the rules that Congress has provided in the tax system. So in order to take things like accelerated depreciation or bonus expensing, they have to do the right thing. They have to buy new trucks, new equipment for their factories, new tools for their workers. That all increases GDP and economic growth. So that's a good thing. They also provide stock options for their employees, which makes their employees wealthier. So they're sharing the wealth of the company with their employees. All of those are in the tax code, and so they're doing the right thing, and that's all things that Congress has put in the tax code for companies to do.
Okay, let's see if we can get a baseline of understanding about what all these numbers are accurate or not. You say that 1%, the top 1% of the wealthiest people in the country pay 46% of income taxes, is that right?
40% of
40%.
income taxes,
Okay.
yes.
Mr. Zuckman, is that right?
Professor
Zuckman. Professor?
Yes, yes, Senator, this is correct, I believe.
Okay, that's correct. All right, that's good. Is it true that about 30% plus of Americans pay no income tax?
35% of all Americans who file an income tax return pay zero income taxes because of largely tax credits such as the child tax credit, earned income tax credit, education tax credits, and so forth.
That's federal income tax, correct?
Federal income tax, that's correct.
Yeah.
And according to CBO data, many of those are refundable tax credits, which actually completely offset their payroll taxes as well. Actually, according to CBO data, the bottom two quintiles have negative effective tax rates because of the generosity of those refundable tax credits.
Professor, do you agree with that statement?
Senator, I think when studying the progressivity of the tax system, it's important to take into account all taxes at all levels of government. And when you do that,
I just asked you a question. Do you agree with what he said?
yeah, I agree with this.
Okay. Now, I understand where you're coming from. But just trying to get some data points here. What is the average corporate tax rate in the industrialized world, Mr. Hodge?
It's a little over 25% if you adjust it for economy size. The U.S. Corporate tax rate right now, when you add the federal rate of 21% plus the state rate, is about average in the industrialized world right now.
And the proposal to go to 35%, how does that affect our ability to create jobs in our economy here at home?
That would instantly make the U.S. Having the highest overall corporate tax rate at around 32%, which would be much higher than even France right now, which is moving to 25%. Sweden is reducing their rate to around 20% as well. That's the trend among global countries to make themselves more attractive for investment and jobs.
So, Ms. McGinnis, are you with us? Ms. McGinnis?
I am with you.
Okay. So if you took the entire wealth of the top 1%, their houses, their dogs, everything they own, how much money would that be for the federal government?
I'm sorry, Senator, I don't know the answer to that offhand. Hoping one of our other panelists does.
I think it's about $30 trillion. I can't remember, but it's a fraction of what you would need to get us out of debt is my question. Do you agree with that? If you confiscated all the wealth of the top 1%, that doesn't get the nation out of debt. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, I think you couldn't possibly confiscate all the wealth and it wouldn't be able to get us out of debt on the debt trajectory that we're on. That's correct.
Okay. And for us to get out of debt, we're going to have to adjust entitlement spending and maybe revenue generation too. Is that correct?
Yeah, and I want to be sort of realistic. I don't think we're going to be able to get out of debt. I don't think we need to get completely out of debt. At this point, I would,
right, a better ratio.
Just get us to the point where the economy is growing faster than the debt instead of the reverse. And we are not going to be able to do that along with this expansive agenda without looking at all parts of the budget. So taxes on the well-off, but also probably broad-based taxes if we're talking about big expansions and certainly changes on the spending side.
Yeah, and the spending side is really driven by entitlements. Is that correct, mostly?
That is correct. Healthcare and retirement and growth on interest as well.
So Social Security and Medicare have to be dealt with or they're going to run into a major shortfall. Is that correct?
And I think it's such an important point because by not having dealt with them over the past years, we have ignored the reality that we're an aging population, that every year we wait to deal with them, the costs become greater and fall more on the people who depend on them. And many of the things that could have helped to shore up those programs before are now not going to be enough. And so it's really dangerous how long we've waited, and we shouldn't wait any longer. You are going to need to make changes so that we don't have across-the-board benefit cuts.
Thank you very much. Sorry, Mr. Chairman, went over.